more information regarding the recording. As with other recordings at the time, this recording was made on a small, portable, reel-to-reel professional recording deck. The tape was quickly mailed off to Krishnakanti Prabhu at the Golden Avatar, who ran the Bhaktivedanta tape ministry. The policy was that only tapes that were of philosophical nature, such as lectures, morning walks, and room conversations regarding the philosophy, became part of Srila Prabhupada's tape ministry, where copies were released to the devotees. Regarding recordings like this meeting and other conversations of managerial or personal nature, they didn't become part of the official tape ministry. Tapes such as this, Krishnakanti Prabhu simply archived. Therefore, no copies of this tape would have been made or widely released and distributed at that time in 1977. The tape would remain sitting on the shelf for many years. What this means is that none of the GBC members at that time in 77, nor for many years after, had access to the actual recording, nor any transcript of it, which is why this faulty, grossly lacking, and outright wrong report was really the only foundation the whole rest of the GBC had for reaching their conclusions as to what they thought Srila Prabhupada wanted regarding this issue. I have found, however, that Rameshwar Swami Prabhu did include a transcript of this meeting in an article or essay that he wrote in 1980. So clearly, it had been transcribed by then. The process at that time was that the BBT had been transcribing all of Srila Prabhupada's audio recordings even before he passed on. There may have been more than one person doing this, but the only one that I knew of, personally anyway, was Balai Devi Dasi. Since the mid-1960s, Srila Prabhupada used a dictaphone for writing his Bhaktivedanta purports. He actually didn't write them. Not after getting the dictaphone, but he would speak them onto the tape. Since the early 1970s, these tapes were sent to the BBT, and Balai Devi Dasi, and maybe others, would transcribe his words. This is how the books were produced at the time. Sometime around 75 or 76, the BBT obtained a computerized typesetting machine. I really have no idea how long it took Balai to transcribe a tape. I'm speculating here, but I'm sure she could do a 1-hour tape in probably 2 to 4 hours. I mean, that's just speculating. I don't know exactly. But after Srila Prabhupada departed, there were no longer any book translation tapes to be transcribed. Therefore, the BBT had her begin the task of transcribing all of the recordings in the tape ministry. The lectures were the first priority, and at some point, she also began transcribing all of the archive tapes, including tapes such as this, that had not been part of the distributed tape ministry. So it's reasonable to assume that by 1980, she had completed the bulk of all of the tapes by then, and therefore Rameshwar, who oversaw the work done by the BBT in Los Angeles, was able to obtain a transcribed copy of this meeting. So yes, by 1980, Rameshwar had a transcript of this meeting. But by then, he had been accepting disciples for over 2 years. When the other GBC members began to get access to the transcript and copies of the recording, which was actually many years later, they didn't think of questioning the correctness of the original 1977 GBC report. Rather, by that time, they were 100% invested in and convinced that the path the GBC had been taken was the path that Srila Prabhupada wanted. And they only looked at the transcription from the perspective that it supported the path that they were on.